Yesterday, we talked about the legislative branch. Today, we are going to talk about the executive branch. The executive branch is one of the other three branches in our government. So, we are going to talk about what they have the power to do in this branch, but also who is in this branch. Okay, so this is the executive branch. The White House is really the building that you think of when you think of the executive branch, because this has everything to do with the president. So, the executive branch, what they're responsible for, they are responsible for enforcing the laws. The president is the head of the executive branch. The president provides leadership by setting goals and developing policy. They cannot create laws, but they are able to set goals for the country, and they can also ask the legislative branch, the Congress, to come up with laws to kind of help form what the president believes needs to be done within the country, so they can inform some of that information. The executive branch, in order to be in the executive branch, you must be a natural born citizen. You must be at least 35 years old. You must be 14 years a resident within the United States. The term for the presidency, because all of this information is really to become president, you can only be president for 4 years, but you could be reelected. You're only allowed to be reelected once more. So for a total of 8 years, potentially, if you're a good president, or if people want you and they vote for you. You must give a State of the Union to Congress. That happens yearly. State of the Union is literally just talking about the state of our country, what the president is hoping to do for the country, and they say this in front of the Congress so the Congress can pass bills that are necessary. They must take an oath. The president must take an oath, and this is what follows. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will do to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So when they are becoming president, they have to stand in front of the White House or in front of Congress, depending on where they do it, and they put their hand on a Bible or usually some religious book, and they say this oath that this is what they're swearing to do for their country. The powers of the president, they are the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy. That does not mean that they can declare war or that they can add more people to the military, but if they are at war or if the military is anywhere overseas, they are the people who are in charge of finding out what the Army is doing and making sure that they are doing the right thing. They can grant pardons and they can also veto laws. So what that means, a pardon is if somebody was arrested for something and thrown in jail, and that seems to have been a problem because that person really didn't commit a crime or they've been in jail for too long, they can grant a pardon to allow them to leave jail. And that usually happens because people are found guilty for something that isn't that bad, or they've been in jail for way too long for the crime that they've committed. They also can veto laws. So if something passes through the House of Representatives and then it goes to the Senate and the president determines, you know what, this is not a good law for our people. We've heard enough about what people in the United States want from the government. I'm not going to allow this law to pass. They can say stop, and they allow the Congress to go right back into fixing that law before they pass it again. They can also call Congress into session. So if there's something that needs to be done immediately, the president can say, all right, we need to have a meeting. Everybody in Congress go to the meeting. They can make treaties. They can appoint Supreme Court justices and ambassadors. But all of these need Senate approval. So the treaties just means an agreement with other countries for peace. And Supreme Court justices and ambassadors, these are people that might be in other countries, or the Supreme Court justices we're going to learn a little more about in the judicial branch when we go over that. But every decision that is made about these appointments, they still need to go to the Senate, and the Senate needs to pass this information. They can be impeached for the following reasons. The president can be impeached for treason, which means doing something against the country, for bribery, for bribing other people or other countries for something, and for other high crimes and misdemeanors. That basically means anything illegal that they should not be doing. They are the president. They need to be kind of above all of that. They should not be committing crimes, and they can be impeached if they do. Impeachment, once again, means that they can be removed from the presidency. There are a bunch of advisors. The president does not make all decisions alone. That is impossible for one person to make all these decisions alone. So they have a bunch of advisors. There is a Department of the State, of the Treasury, the Interior, Agriculture, Justice, Labor, Commerce, Veterans Affairs, Defense, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Transportation, Energy, Education, and now Homeland Security. We don't need to know the meaning of all those. We are going to uncover a lot of that as the year goes on. What's important for you to understand is the president does not get to make a decision about all of these issues without talking to other people first. That's the important thing for you to know. All right, that is all you need to know right now about the executive branch.